Welcome. Whether you have come to listen or simply to rest, settle in. The story we are going to tell tonight begins more than 3,000 years ago in the rainforests of Central America, where a people built cities that would outlast empires. They called themselves by the names of their kingdoms: Tikal, Palenque, Calakmul, Copan. But the world came to know them as the Maya. They were not a single empire. They were a constellation of city-states, each with its own king, its own gods, its own stone pyramids rising above the jungle canopy. At their height, between roughly 250 and 900 AD Mo, the Maya were astronomers of extraordinary precision. Without telescopes, without metal tools, they tracked the movements of Venus with an accuracy that would not be matched in Europe for centuries. They knew the length of the solar year to within seconds of modern measurements. They predicted eclipses. They mapped the motions of the moon, the planets, the Milky Way itself. Their calendar system was more complex than anything the Romans ever devised. It wove together multiple cycles: the 260-day ritual calendar, the 365-day solar year, the 52-year calendar round, and beyond that, the long calendars. The Maya invented writing in the Americas. It was a script of stunning complexity, part pictogram, part phonetic, capable of recording not just nouns and numbers, but grammar, poetry, history, prophecy. For centuries after the Spanish conquest, no one could read it. The glyphs remained silent on temple walls, on stone stelae, on the handful of bark paper codices that survived the bonfires of the Inquisition. Scholars thought it might be decorative. It was not. It was literature. It was law. It was the voices of kings speaking across 1,000 years. Only in the late 20th century, after decades, at the heart of every Maya city stood a ball court. The game played there was ancient, older than the cities themselves, and it was not merely sport. It was ritual. It was cosmic drama. Two teams struck a heavy rubber ball with their hips, their elbows, their knees, trying to send it through a stone ring mounted high on the court wall. The game could last for hours. The stakes were life and death. In some cities, the losing captain, or perhaps the winning one, accounts differ, was sacrificed to the gods. Blood fed the earth. The ball itself represented the sun, moving through the underworlds. The cities were not built in a wilderness. The jungle was a partner, a rival, a source of everything. The Maya cleared the forest to plant maize, beans, squash, cacao. They built raised fields in swamps, terraced hillsides, managed forests for lumber and game. They harvested copal resin for incense, cacao for ritual drink, obsidian from distant volcanoes for blades sharper than steel. The rainforest provided, but it also threatened. Hurricanes tore through the lowlands. Droughts came in cycles, some lasting years, even decades. The soil was thin. Crops failed. Rivers dried up. The Maya built bohíos. The kings were called Ku'uhul Ajal, divine lords. They claimed descent from the gods, from the hero twins who defeated the lords of the underworld, from the maize god who was reborn from the earth. A king's power was spiritual, as much as political. He performed bloodletting rituals, piercing his tongue, his genitals, offering his blood to sustain the gods. He waged war to capture rival kings who would be paraded through the plaza, humiliated, tortured, sacrificed on the temple steps. The Maya did not fight to conquer territory. They fought for captives, for tribute, for prestige, a king's legate. The cities were crowded, bustling, alive. Farmers brought maize and chili peppers. Merchants traded jade from the highlands, salt from the coast, cacao from the river valleys. Artisans carved jade beads, wove cotton mantles dyed with indigo and cochineal, shaped clay into vessels painted with gods and kings. Children played in the plazas. Women ground maize on stone matates, the rhythm of the grinding stone a constant music. The smell of copal smoke drifted from the temples. At night, fires burned in 1,000 hearths. The cities were not just religious centers, they were homes, tens of thousands miles. And then they left. Not all at once, not everywhere, but across the southern lowlands, between roughly 800 and 900 AD, the great cities began to empty. Tikal, Palenque, Calakmul, Copan. The last dated monuments were carved. The temples went unfinished. The plazas fell silent. The people did not vanish. They migrated north, to Yucatan, to the highlands, to smaller settlements. But the cities they left behind were swallowed by the jungle within a generation. Trees pushed through roofs. Roots split stone walls. The carvings that had proclaimed the glory of kings were buried under leaves and soil. The jungle kept the secret for centuries. Spanish conquistadors passed within miles of Tikal and never saw it. A few cities, like Chichen Itza, remained occupied or were remembered in local tradition. But the great southern cities were forgotten, erased from memory, known only in fragments of myth. Then, in the 19th century, explorers began to stumble into the ruins. John Lloyd Stephens and Frederick Catherwood, traveling through Central America in the 1840s, found stone cities buried in the forest, temples taller than anything they had expected, carvings they could not read. They published bows. The Maya did not disappear. That is the myth, and it is false. More than 7 million people today speak Maya languages, practice Maya traditions, live in the lands their ancestors built. The cities fell, yes, but the people endured. They adapted, survived conquest, disease, displacement, and they are still here. The ruins are not graves. They are monuments to resilience, to human creativity, to the will to make meaning in stone and starlight. The hieroglyphs have been read. The calendar has been decoded. The kings have been named. But mysteries remain. Whole cities still lie buried under the